Hey everyone, welcome to the Tom's Hardware Podcast for April 19th, 2022. As always, I'm Tom's Hardware Editor-in-Chief, Abram Pilch, and I'm joined by Raspberry Pi expert Ash Hill. Thank you so much for joining us as always. And Les is out this week. Our special guest had to cancel at the on short notice. And this isn't a great week for us because I've been homesick the whole week with COVID. But I'm doing better. Ash, you're doing okay.
I mean, that's just a good excuse to tinker with poor pie projects, right? Can't get out of the house, might as well work on something.
Yes. So we have a couple things we could talk about this week. It's not our best week, I'm sorry to say, but thank you, those of us who tuned in. Ash, what are some of the coolest things that we reported on this week?
That we've reported on this week. Ooh, project-wise, oh, there was a really neat one. Let me pull it up so I can reference everything better. We've had a lot of neat projects come through, especially ones that use interfaces. And I'm going to talk about interfaces in a little bit because I've been playing with a few different ones that you can use on the Raspberry Pi. But let me see what we've got here.
Well, I for one am a fan of the kit replica.
Ooh, yeah, that one was really cool. And what I thought was neat about it was interactive, but it's using a microcontroller to listen to your voice, and it'll trigger responses using your voice commands.
Yeah, so, for example, you have this, obviously, I don't know, Ash, if you've gotten to watch a lot of Knight Rider.
I haven't.
It hasn't been on the show in a while.
It's been a little
been on the air in a while.
Yeah.
Maybe you can catch it on streaming, but it's always neat when folks come up with a way of recreating sort of classic sci-fi tech. So,
well, what was cool about this, what I really liked about it was you're using a microcontroller, so you're not going to get any kind of it's not going to recognize your speech. It's not using any kind of machine learning or AI to recognize what you're saying and interpret based off of that. So what this maker did to get different responses was just to measure the volume of your voice. So there are 3 different types of responses. I think one of them is jokes, one of them is just quotes, things like that. And the way to trigger each one is just to talk quietly or to yell at it. So you could say whatever you want, and it might seem like it's responding based off what you're saying, but really you're just tricking it by getting the volume right. That was clever.
Another one that we really liked, and I can see that Kevin, who made this, is joined us, is the Raspberry Pi robot rabbit that hops, which is pretty neat.
Well timed for Easter.
Well timed for Easter. Really neat.
He has a lot of those kits, actually. That one's based off of a cat one that he has, and there's a few that you can download and 3D print at home and throw it together and watch it move around.
Kevin, can you join us on a future podcast to talk about these? We would love to have you.
We want to see them in action.
We want to see them in action. That is really neat. This is the kind of thing that's just absolutely fun to make with your kids.
Did you see the one from this weekend? It was the wacky waving inflatable tube guys.
Oh yes, the one who dances like me. So
yes.
That's what my family says anyway. They say that I dance just like that. What do you call those guys that you have in front of the used car store? The inflatable tube guy.
Yeah.
But yes.
I like the reason that the maker made this one, because it makes sense, to want to control random stuff with the Pi because it's fun. But the whole reason that they did this is because they're a high school teacher and they got tired of students packing up their stuff before class was over because it took too long to set back up their laptops and open up Adobe and everything. So in order to keep everybody there for as much time as possible, they have to wait until these guys start dancing. And once they start dancing, it's okay to pack up and leave for class.
Yes, it's just kind of a sad commentary on teaching today that you need to have like some type of animated robot display to tell kids it's okay to leave class.
We were pretty bad about it back in the day too, though. I remember one kid, he would stare at the clock and he would start walking out the door before the bell ring, and it would ring right whenever he got to the door. So maybe projects like this will keep students in line and make them curious about robotics in the process.
Yeah, yeah, we can certainly hope that anything to catch the kids' attention is always a good thing. The another one that I really liked is this old terminal that you wrote about.
Oh yeah, is that the
So
one using the? Yeah, that's it. That's it. It's got the old what's it called? The little. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the name of the screen that he recycled.
yes, it is a one of
I've got
those
the
really old
too.
displays, but
I'm looking it
yeah,
up. That's why.
that is that is really cool.
An Argus previewer slide viewer, so it was used for like just looking at slides. And he used it in another project before, and he wanted to recycle it for this one. And it's not even a real terminal; it's a pretend terminal, but that's still pretty cool in itself. It just
Yeah,
types and drops a line, and you had to program all of that in Python to make it look right.
yeah, that's a lot of that's a lot of work
Mm-hmm.
because it's always great when you see folks taking old tech and recycling it, using it as something new so that you can actually, get a completely new use case out of it, which is just always a lot of fun when you see what people are doing with old tech. Speaking of things that are kind of old and analog, you also recently reported on, I thought this is pretty cool, an LED dartboard. So you can kind of better score your dart games.
I like that one because it's got a web interface. So if you have a phone or a tablet nearby, you can set up different game modes and program players, and it'll keep track of your points for you.
That's really neat.
You could probably
So
make up your own rules and your own different game modes with something like that. Not just for a dartboard, but any kind of game like that. That's pretty neat that you can. I don't know. I like the idea of having a little separate device as the interface for controlling projects out there. And if you have just one device you're using for all your projects, you can easily switch between them. And it's kind of like Star Trek, isn't it? Just having like one little flat thing to do everything you want.
yeah, that is great. So speaking of doing everything that you want, you have been doing more graphical programming, have you not?
Yeah, I've been playing around with all kinds of GUI applications lately because what's a prior project without a good interface, right? So last week, I covered one called TK Enter, and if you didn't tune in last week, you should go check out that episode because we had a lot of fun. It was really cool. But if you're new to it, TK Enter is a Python library that you can use to create your own interface from scratch with. And what I'm looking at today is two more GUI creating applications that you can use on the Raspberry Pi. One of them is called Gui Zero, and the other one is called Easy GUI. And both of these have their strengths and their weaknesses. I wanted to share a little bit about them both with you guys, and I have a few demo programs put together just so you can see what they look like in action. And also, we're going to dig into the code so you can get a quick look at how much it takes to really get off the ground with them. I'm going to switch over to my virtual machine. It's running Raspberry Pi OS because it's a lot easier to do this on the stream with virtual machine than it is to actually connect the Pi to it. But this is the latest version of Raspberry Pi OS. And that is significant because the first application that we're looking at actually comes built in to the latest edition of the operating system. You don't have to do anything special to install Gui Zero. But actually, let me take a step back and show you what we did last week so you know what we're comparing this against. This is a test script that I wrote for TK Enter. And it's a little bit more involved. You do have to import a few different packages to use all the components in the library to adjust things like the size of the window, add buttons and things like that. But if I run this, you'll see it makes a window with a custom title. We've got a button. You click the button, it gives you another window that I can move around. We have a custom message that has a title on it. Click OK, closes it out. So that's what we did last week. And today with Gui Zero, let's see here. All right, so getting started with this is a bit quicker than TK Enter. It has a softer learning curve. It uses syntax that's straightforward enough for beginners to pick up on with very little context. At least I think it's easy. When you see words like app and message, it's not abbreviated. I think things like that are easier for people to pick up on if they're not too familiar with programming. So if we run this, we get a window just like last time. We can adjust the title to say whatever we want. Here it says Hello Piecast. We have a button. In this case, we click it and we get a custom message in the same window that says, you clicked it. And if you look at just the size of the script here, this is 17 lines, and this over here is about 19. But it's also got a few extra gaps here for some comments and everything. But it was a lot easier to get off the ground with Gui Zero than TK Enter. Both of them come pre-installed, so there wasn't any extra steps as far as installation goes. But Gui Zero may be a little bit more beneficial to you if you're not into building everything from scratch. It's got a lot of tools you can just pick up and go with. And the other one I wanted to show off here was Easy GUI. This one is probably the most aptly named GUI creation tool out of the three because it's incredibly easy to get started with Easy GUI. Just look at how little text is needed in this script right here. I've got 2 lines, and I probably could have broken it up a little more to spread out, but in 2 lines, I can create a window, adjust the title, move it around, adjust the text here. We've got a button that has a function programmed. In this case, you click it to close. Overall, these are really useful tools to have in your arsenal. You may find one is preferable over another, depending just on your project needs. I recommend experimenting with them all to get a feel for how they build interfaces. Personally, I lean on TK Enter. I like that it's cross-platform compatible. It maintains a user-friendly infrastructure. But both Gui Zero and Easy GUI are definitely great tools if you're in a hurry or if you're new to programming. But for me, they're a little too user-friendly, and I kind of appreciate the depth that a TK Enter provides. But they both have their merit. What do you think? Out of these 3, have you played with any? Does any of them look preferable to you by how they're constructed or how they work?
I think I would use TK Enter just because it's the most popular, so probably the best supported. What I would like to know is how easy you found it to change the style of things. Like how easy was it to change the font? How easy was it to change the colors? I think you haven't really shown that, but have you tried getting different colors going or different fonts or images?
So a lot of these work with widgets, and the longer you take looking through information they provide about what those widgets are and how to integrate them, the easier you're going to have putting them together. I know that sounds obvious, but I'm saying that because TK Enter had a lot more documentation available, and I found it easier to, like in this case, I'm adjusting the window size. I know that's not colors and fonts, but I have more in this TK Enter script adjusting details, like whenever I run the code, where does the window show up? Is it up in the corner? Is it over here? And I was able to find what I needed to do what I wanted faster with TK Enter. That said, it might be easier to use these to change those things once you get in, but I think that the community makes it easier to find what you need with TK Enter.
Kevin asks, is TK Enter, Gui Zero, and Easy GUI all across platform? All across platform? Will they all work across different platforms?
That's a good question. I'm not confident. I'm not sure if Gui Zero and Easy GUI are, but I know for sure TK Enter is. It's been around for a while. It's part of Python 3, I think. And maybe Gui Zero, but I was under the impression that I found that one on PyPy, so I'm not sure if that was more Pi related or not.
I have a question for you. Maybe this is obvious, but you need to be running X Windows to run these. You can't run these without being in an X window environment. Is that right?
I don't remember doing anything special to set that up.
I mean, I'm assuming if you try to run these from the command line and you don't have X running, then it's not going to work, right?
I'm not sure.
I'm guessing probably not because it looks like it uses the X windows, but you have to try it for sure. But I have a feeling you would probably need it. Barry says, If you're learning Python, you're best to go to Kinter. From what I've seen, watched a few tutorials on YouTube.
Yep, the content's there. Just like he said, there's tutorials out there for it.
Les is watching, says they'll error from. Yeah, that's what I kind of figure. Sort of like Pygame. So speaking of games, wanted to show folks really briefly how you can run Minecraft, the the real version of Minecraft on a Raspberry Pi. Now,
Java edition.
Java edition or actually Bedrock edition. I'll show you how you can install them. Your mileage may vary. This did work for me at least at one time. So what I'm going to share with you here is a Raspberry Pi 400 running Bullseye. And there is an app store that you should install called Pi Apps. And rather than just read it to you, there's a wget command that is on the Pi Apps. So if I go to you'll see that there's a Pi Apps GitHub page, right? And if I go to the Pi Apps GitHub page, which is over here, it will. Everything is a little slow today, but anyway, it will show me all of these instructions, and when it shows me these, it'll tell me to run this little command, which I can copy and paste from there. So you see that it's got a nice project going by BotSpot, and it tells you to run this command at the command line, which I have here. You run it, it will download and install Pi Apps, which appears over in your accessories folder. You launch it, and it's like a whole big app store. And there's a lot of apps on here that may not easily be obtainable through other means, or they might be, but this is the easiest way to get them.
I like that splash screen.
It's kind of cool. So then you go here to games, and here you have a choice of Minecraft Java, Minecraft Java Server, Minecraft Pi modded, which I think is just the education edition,
and Line Rider,
and Minecraft Bedrock. Now, if you're a Minecraft player, you know that there's a lot of different launchers. This uses one called the Luna launcher, but you know that the Minecraft that comes with Raspberry Pi OS is not the real one. It's an education edition. You can't play like the real game. It's meant to teach you some things. People who are serious about playing Minecraft, like my 10-year-old son, they want to play the real thing. So you would just simply highlight this and you'd hit install, which takes a couple minutes. So I'm not going to do it right this second because I just did it before. You also have other things that you can install from here that are not readily available, like Steam.
Neat.
So that's kind of cool. Then once it's installed, it will be under games. Now let's see if the Minecraft Lunar launcher works. It should work. It should even work with mods, but with at least some mods. However, when I tried to run this before, it crashed on me. I know for a fact that it has worked in the recent past on this computer, but I'm not
surely it wouldn't crash on a live stream.
I just reinstalled it, so let's see. But yes, Pi Apps has a lot of.
Hey.
Yeah, I mean that's the place to put it, right?
Yeah.
So let's see. Last time it did this and it did not load. But yes, your client has crashed. But
that is how you install it.
That is how you install it, and it should work. It is also possible that I need to install some of these other things. which I won't make you guys sit here and watch me do, but supposedly that all works. And so here's another Minecraft launcher, right? This is for now, mind you, I should point out with all of these that you need a valid Minecraft account. So it's not like you're getting a free Minecraft. It's just if you already were playing Minecraft on your Windows PC or another computer and you had a Java license, then this is how you would also be able to use it on your Pi. I think my next step will be, as I said, my son and I had this working before, but my next step would probably be going and installing some of these other pieces here. There's a Java multi MC5, Java server. I would try all of these and see, and notice when you install an app, this is what I see. Or your feed changes, would you like to update? Yes, I would like to update. So, some experimentation involved here. Oh, I see. They want to, PyOps wants to update some things. Okay, sure, why not? Admittedly, we haven't had this running for a few weeks, so it's possible that you need to update some stuff. But I think the bottom line is, of course, this is a way to do something that you wouldn't easily be able to do otherwise on a Pi, and we're all about doing stuff that isn't as straightforward to do. So this has been kind of our shortened week because Les is out, our guest is out, and
he's in the comments today instead.
And I'm like somewhat out. But I want to thank everybody for joining us. Next week we are actually going to have we're going to have a guest for sure. We're going to have a lot to talk about. Les will be back. I expect to be in better shape physically and have better, even cooler stuff to show. But thanks to everybody for listening and watching. Ooh, should we try this one more time?
Yeah.
All right. Closing in 30 seconds. This is a different version, so let's try it. Minecraft Pi Edition Reborn. Select items below. Okay, I just say okay to all of these. Minecraft render distance. Let's just say go. Let's just go with the defaults. Let's see what happens. Aha. Okay, but this is the Pi edition, so this is not. This is not the Java. This is not the Bedrock. This is the one that you would get for free with any Minecraft. So, with any Raspberry Pi OS. Well, I will have more on. I tell you what, for those who are watching, I'll have more on this next week. In the meantime, I want to remind you all that I just read today that there could be a Minecraft movie starring Jason Momoa. How they would do that, and why they would do that, is anyone's guess. We will see you all next week at 2:30 Eastern, 7:30 UK time, and have a great week, everyone. Bye.